Hello, door number 10. Okay, another fantastic present. It's another 10 marker. Really difficult one, I think, as well. We'll have a look at that in a second. But let's start off with a joke. What did Santa say to the smoker? Please don't do that. It's affecting my health. I think that's a better one, to be honest. Okay, so we've got a bit of information again about Elizabeth and Bill. Okay, now, again, this is one of these questions. It's not like yesterday where the individual isn't in the question. So you're talking about generic people rather than these individuals here. Okay, evaluate the impact of different factors on the development of self-concept in adolescence. Wow, what does that mean for 10 marks? Okay, so what I'd like you to do is have a look at it, try and break down the question, use the iBug system, quick mind map, and then we'll go through some answers. Okay, before we get to the answers, just want to have a look at some keywords, and do you know what, I'm going to skip back. So let's have a look at the question first. So it's evaluate, so we're going to be looking for positives and negatives again. We know the drill by now with that, so big box around that in the iBug system. The impact of different factors. So what do we mean by different factors? Well, we'll come back to that. On the development of self-concept, so you need to know what self-concept is. So how do these factors positively and negatively affect self-concept on people in adolescence? So we're not linking it to Fiona or Sam or Elizabeth. It's people in adolescence. So you need to know how old people are in that life stage, which is 9 to 18. So that's what the question's asking you. How do different factors affect the self-concept of people that are 9 to 18 years old? So you need to know a couple of things before you even get going on this question. You need to know what age range, you need to know what self-concept is, and you need to know what factors actually happen to these people in this age range. So there's a lot to take in. First of all, let's give you some definitions. So self-concept's the one that I think it's really difficult to remember what this is, because there's lots of different definitions, but I'm going to try and make it straightforward for you. So this is the BTEC one in the black, okay? A sense of identity. It's an awareness that an individual is unique, okay? And self-concept, really, that forms, so probably around 6 or 7 years old, around early childhood, and that is what that is. But that doesn't really help us. So there's another way of looking at it. So self-concept is a collection of beliefs about oneself. So what you often hear written is that self-concept is a sum of self-image, self-worth, self-esteem, and all of these things linked to self-concept. So when you get a question on self-concept, you are talking about all of the following. Okay, so you can link any of those in, and that might make it more sense. So give some definitions to start off your 10 marker, what we're actually talking about. We'll go way lost here. There we go, back to that one. Okay, so what are some of these factors? Let's cut to the chase. Culture. Okay, so a person's culture and beliefs will affect a person. So they may affect them positively because they buy into that culture and they buy into the specific things that certain religions and cultures do. It might affect them negatively because they don't believe, they want to drink alcohol, or they might want to do something that their culture or faith says that they shouldn't do. Okay, so you could link that in, but you have to be specific. Which culture, which faith, what behaviour. Families can affect people if they're don't feel like they're being supported. Because remember, in adolescence, your family is still providing for you for most of that. Okay, you're still in school. Is family dysfunctional? Are they not providing you with food, warmth, a safe environment? How would that affect you? Would it affect your education? Would it affect your confidence? Now we're linking it back to self-concept, so link it to your self-image and self-esteem. How would you feel if your family couldn't provide for you? Friendships and peer groups, that's a nice one to talk about, because friends are important. Well, they're important throughout life, but definitely in this stage, so we know how they can have a positive and a negative effect on you. You can discuss that as well. Let's have a look. Social media, that plays a big part as well, and it links to bullying and friendships. Bullying, okay, so massive thing that happens a lot in that life stage, so you can talk about how that can make your self-image and your self-esteem very low, and the effect that can have on you. Let's have a look. Major life events, okay, they can happen to anyone at any stage, so you could talk about the death of a family member, birth of a sibling. There's lots of different events you could link in, and again, you've got to say if they're positive or negative. Now, the effects of maturation, Basically that's going through puberty, so you can say how physical changes of puberty, sort of your body developing and changing and getting spots, how that could be a positive or a negative. Also in this life stage as well, linking to this, is you're going to start having sexual relationships towards the end of it as well, so that can be a positive, that you get an emotional connection with someone, but it can also lead to upset if that doesn't last and breaks out. That's going to make you feel your self-image feel very low, okay, if it doesn't work out. And then also the effects of illness and disability, which again can link to any life stage, but that's going to have a negative impact on an individual's self-esteem, because it makes them feel like they can't do things that they should be able to do, and people the same age range are doing. It's going to have a negative effect if they suffer illness or disability. But also you could turn that into a positive and say it might give them a drive to overcome these issues and do well and strive to achieve. So again, loads of different answers that you can put on there. It's not easy just to give you an answer, but basically flicking back to the question, I think the hardest part of this is not knowing the factors, it's understanding the question. So it's asking you, how do these factors affect people's self-concept that are aged sort of 9 to 18 years old? That's what it's asking you. So those are your answers. Difficult question, that. Easy to look at that question, start panicking in an exam and think, oh, I don't know any of these. But you do. Okay, you're in that age range. So think about some of those factors and how they can affect people's self-image and self-esteem. It's an evaluate positives, negatives, 3-4 paragraphs. I'd try and get 3 positives. So pick out 3 of these and say they can be positive and linked to self-concept, how they can be negative, linked to self-concept and self-image, and then do a conclusion. Okay? That's it.